If you're enjoying playing the Sorceress in Path of Exile 2, then let me show you my mid build, full Elementalist but mostly Ice by this point build guide for Path of Exile 2. We have our passive tree, all our skill gems, our items, all that fun stuff. And if we start with our passives, the first thing we're going to start with is the Ancestry. Now, it's kind of easy to get through the Trials of Secula once you do it the first time. If you're a new player, you might struggle until you really figure it out. Essentially, you just want to run away. But we have gone with this lovely sort of Elementalist Ancestry. I can't fully remember the name of it, sadly. Let me see if I can find it. The Stormweaver, there we go. And the first 2 points we take from this, we actually go into Elemental Resistances to just buff us up a little bit, and then Heart of the Storm. So 40% of all elemental damage taken recouped as energy shield. Really, really nice way of just hanking yourself up. Because you don't really have things like minions to rely on or heavy armor, best way, really buff up your energy shield, continuously be able to like replenish that, so if you do get damaged, it's harder for enemies to kill you off. Now once you finish that off, we are actually going to start with the spell damage side, not the energy shield side. Really want to buff up our DPS. So we start here, we take the 10% spell damage increase, and we go north for another spell damage increase of 10%. We're going to take the left hand side path for an 8% increase, following it up for another 8%. This will lead you to raw power, 20% increased spell damage, and a plus 10 to intelligence. If you look on the right hand side of the screen, you'll see we have 38 strength, 35 dex, and 83 intelligence. Now from this point we're going to go north again, and this is going to give us elemental damage, which is exactly what we want. Now at this point there are 3 branching paths. For me, I went straight first, so 10% increase to cold damage. For Path of Winter, 18% increased cold damage and a 30% increased freeze build-up. Going north once again for elemental damage. Now I would also suggest taking Path of the Flame for an 18% increase of fire damage and a 30% chance to ignite, and the fire damage 10%. And then eventually, if you have some spare points, taking the lightning damage here as well and the Path of Storms. However, at the moment we are just going to go north for plus 5 to strength, and we go to the top right. And for these nodes here, so the strength one, dexterity, as you go all the way up until you get to your gem skill at the top, you really want to focus on whatever your gear isn't giving you. Now the reason I say that is, if you have gear that is giving you plus 4,000 strength, you're not going to need a node for any of that stuff, right? Obviously 4,000 is a wildly exaggerated number, but you get the gist. If you have a bunch of gear that gives you overall plus 70 to strength, so your strength is sitting at, I don't know, 90, but your dex is only 10, then obviously all these nodes you're probably going to want to put into dex. Similar to what I've hit, it's all dex and strength because I've picked up so much intelligence from the passive tree. So bear that in mind as you're going through this, just look at your stats, really think about what you need to put these as, and don't forget you can respec. So if you go to Hooded 1 and you pick up a piece of gear that gives you plus 30 dex, well, get rid of these dex nodes, put them into strength, really balance yourself out. Now from the top right here, we are going to go to the left, into the middle, and then we have 3 branching paths. Each lead to different things. So you have Breath of Fire, Breath of Ice, and Breath of Lightning. Now, realistically, you are going to want to get all of these. I would personally start with the Ice. So you go to the left, the Cold Penetration of 6%, another 6%, and then Breath of Ice. Damage penetrates 15% cold resistance and a plus 10 to intelligence. After that, I would come south, Fire Penetration, pick up the 6%, and then get your Breath of Fire, plus 10 to strength, and penetrates 15% fire resistance. I like these because you get the plus 10 to your stats, and you get the fire resistance penetration. Eventually you do want to round this out, and you do want to grab Breath of Lightning. I don't have enough skill points yet, I'm missing 1, but I have been working my way towards that. And as I said, you're going to follow this path all the way up until you get your gel, or sorry, I said a gem, it's a jewel. And for this, you kind of want to get jewels that will really benefit what you've got going. Now I've just put anything here for now, just to like use the slot up so you can see what you can get from it. This jewel, not good for this build at all in my opinion. 13% increase in magnitude of ailments, I mean, always I press the wrong button, that's okay I guess. If you come into your info mode it will tell you what ailments are. So chill, freeze, shock, electrocute, poison, all that sort of stuff. We are doing a lot of freeze, but that's kind of the only benefit from this. 7% chance to blind enemies you hit with attacks, also pretty good. 23% increased stun threshold if you haven't been stunned recently. But overall, I just feel like you can probably roll way better stats with this. You want things that are going to boost up your spell damage, your elements like we have here, that sort of stuff there. Your penetrations if you can, your cold, fire, lightning, anything like that. Now at this point, because a lot of the enemies in Act 1 and Act 2 are weak to cold, I really focus on your cold damage here, hence why my Sorceress became a cold specialist in this part of the game. So I would fill out your skill tree here and go north. 12% increase and another 12% increase, so that's 24% overall. Definitely worth taking. Going straight up to the middle for 15% increase to freeze build up, and I would go to the left first. Inescapable cold, 40% increase to freeze build up, 20% increase to freeze duration. After that, come back to center, go to the right. Endless Blizzard, +1 level to all cold skills. Now what you'll notice that only leaves you with the left and right hand paths. I would follow the right hand path first, get that extra cold damage, and then get Glacialization. Damage penetrates 18% cold resistances, 25% increased cold exposure. After you've done this, back up to Inescapable Cold and south. You're going to get the increase of cold damage, and then chilled to the bone. 20% increased chill duration on enemies, 30% increased magnitude on chill you inflict. After this, you've only got the chill effects, so 15% increases of magnitude to pick up, and the cold penetrations. Get these in any order. I would probably recommend taking the penetration first, but it's entirely up to you. Now taking this build further, what we're going to do, we're going to grab Breath of Lightning, and then eventually I would probably start with the fire first, because we are using fire skills as well, and I'll take all this increase of fire. All your ignite chances, all that sort of stuff there. And then eventually move into your lightning. If you don't want to use lightning, perfectly okay, get rid of this, and then look up for more chilled stuff. Maybe you're looking to get in your like energy shield recharge, get some more cold damage penetration, all that sort of stuff there. That'd be my opinion. Okay, let's go over our gear. And the main things you want to focus on, in my opinion, when I do a build, I like to focus on 3 or 4 main stats to pick up. And if an item doesn't have those stats, I don't use it. So for me, it's going to be spell damage, it's going to be energy shield / life regen, it's going to be accuracy, and it's going to be sort of like ailments or damage based on that specific damage. So for example, cold damage or something like that. So we go over our stuff. You'll see we're using 2, a cold and a fire, just so I can mix up my damage. Starting with the cold, you'll see we have 56% increased cold damage, plus 20 to maximum mana, 43% increased critical chance for spells. Really crazy stuff to have at this point in the game. This blitzed through the end of Act 2 for me. And then for a fire staff, firebolt obviously, but 46% increased spell damage, 46% increased fire damage, plus 2 to level of all fire spells, plus 5 to intelligence, and gain 9 life per enemy killed. Another just quality staff. For a ring, we are using plus 27 maximum mana, plus 25 accuracy rating, 12% increased cast speed, and a 1.2 life regeneration per second. Coming to our robes, as you can see we have put the quality up to plus 20, but more importantly we've got a rune on it for 20% increased armor, evasion, and energy shield. So overall, really high evasion and energy shield for this part, plus 9 to evasion rating, plus 5 maximum energy shield, 15% increased evasion and energy shield, plus 60 to maximum life, 20% reduced attribute requirements, plus 16 to intelligence, and 1.7 life regen per second. Again, another huge item to have. Really themes our build off nicely. For a hood, once again, building that quality up. Got some armor, got some evasion, plus 52 to armor, plus 38 to evasion rating, 18% increased armor and evasion, and a plus 9 to maximum mana. For an amulet, plus 14 to intelligence, plus 1 to all projectile skills, plus 45 to maximum mana. Your next ring, plus 22 maximum mana. As you can see, lots of mana coming from our items, plus 16 maximum life, 8% increased rarity of items, and a plus 8 to intelligence. For boots, again, working on that quality, got a rune for 25 maximum life, plus 9 armor, plus 6 maximum energy shield, plus 47 to maximum life, 10% increased rarity of items, plus 5 to intelligence, and a 2.3 life regeneration. You can really roll some good stats with this. My items weren't the best for Act 2, I'll be honest. It wasn't until like the end of Act 2 my luck with gems and stuff really started kicking in. Got some really nice items. For a belt, plus 15 to armor, plus 12 maximum life, plus 6 strength, physical thorns damage not needed. And then for gloves, again, working on that quality, getting the energy shield, plus 32 to maximum energy shield, plus 36 to maximum life, plus 8 to dexterity, and gain 6 life per enemy killed. If we come to our character here, you can see we have 158 energy shield, 455 mana, 715 life, 24% armor, 35% evasion. Now if we come to our skills, again we have freezing shards, and we're going to go over everything. So this is our first staff, and if we go to our managed sockets, we've got chain on it. So support skills chain plus 1 time, support skills chain 100% more times, support skills deal 50% less damage with hits. So we've halved our DPS, but now they can chain further. Next up from our next staff we have Firebolt, and for this we've got Ignition, 10% more chance to ignite, and Pierce. This will go through enemies, but it will deal 30% less damage. And this is where the real build really kicks in. Frost Bomb. This is an amazing spell. I will show you this in the combat tutorial. Place it down and it'll burst, and it's huge damage. Ice Nova, also really good. Got gems on this of Glacialization, so 50% more freeze build up, and Energy Barrier. Energy Shield recharge begins immediately and is not interrupted by damage for 2 seconds when stunned. Flame Wall, and Flame Wall is again an amazing ability to have, but we've got Hourglass on it, so support skills deal 40% more damage but 10% cooldown, and Arcane Tempo, 25% more cast speed. We're taking Cold Snap, so we can basically, when we freeze an enemy, we can shatter it, deals a huge amount of damage. Frostbolt, very basic ability to have, but we have got Scattershot on it, so 20% less damage, fire 2 additional projectiles, 20% less attack speed though. Raging Spirits, this is what we are using our 30 Spirit on. I love Raging Spirits. Basically, throw your Flame Wall up and you'll get these lovely skulls that will appear, and they'll start dealing damage. And you see 25% more extra fire damage, 50% less cold and lightning. Arctic Armor, probably not something I'd keep in here. This would be one of the first things I get rid of in all honesty. Fireball, a very good spell to have. I love Fireball in this game. Got Magnified Effect on it, so 40% more area effect. And Eternal Flame, 100% increased ignite duration, but 25% less chance to ignite. And then Frostwall, and this is another really good spell for building up freeze. It's just phenomenal. So let's go pick a fight, and I'll show you. Okay, here we are. So basic attacks. Oh, as I get the enemies coming at me. You'll see how quickly we build up that freeze. It's awesome. Let's just throw our Frost Bomb on. You'll see how much damage this does. There you go, instantly throws everyone. And we can even throw up things like our Frost Wall. You'll see how much damage that does. And it's so easy to get that build up to. Now again, if we were to freeze an enemy, let's try and freeze some of these guys. And then we did our Cold Snap, you'll see we burst them all. And it's really that easy. We really focus on that build up of Frost. We really build everything up. And then if we need to, we can throw out some fire. So this is our basic fire bolt. But we can do better than that. Get our Flame Wall going. But if we really want to, we can throw out our fireballs. And the fireball is amazing. You can see how much big damage it does. So let's just pick off this one first. Let's just do it the easy way. As I get the buttons press. We're just waiting for a huge group of enemies. There we go, let's take all these. And let's start throwing out our fireballs. And you see we've got the Raging Spirits, and now these things are going crazy, and overall it's just such a fun little build. The problem is I've got myself stuck. Which is fine, because then we throw down our little Ice Bomb, we can start throwing out these, and you'll see enemies are frozen almost instantly. We can load them up like that, and it's just such a fun way of just turning people into Arctic bombs essentially. And you can just keep doing this. Get all the freeze build up, explode it, and just like that, throw down your little bombs. I'm obviously not playing that careful, but you should. And look, get those walls exploded, and you can really just help make some lovely choke points. And that was the build. I really hope you have enjoyed it. It's such an easy way to build up Frost, and honestly, the more you build up your spell DPS, the more damage you're going to do, and that's where I'll take the build further. Focus on the fire as well. So I really hope you did enjoy. If you did, please drop the episode a like, it helps me amazingly. If you're new and not subscribed, you'd like to, that'd also be amazing, and hopefully I will see you all in the next one. Bye guys.